I mean, this dude is a guy that is a four-time champion, a four-time league MVP. And I'm telling you right now, LeBron James is phenomenal as he is number 2 all time. Never, ever, MJ. That Michael Jordan. Don't come to me about GOAT James and giving me some youngster as great as Giannis is, young whippersnapper, wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac, living in Greece.
Michael Jordan did not just dominate basketball. He rewrote its very rules. He didn't merely win championships. He owned eras. While others fought for recognition, Jordan demanded reverence. And now, in a world obsessed with stats, longevity, and popularity, Stephen A. Smith just dropped the hammer on the never-ending GOAT debate. His words weren't careful. They weren't neutral. They were fire. His message: LeBron James is great, but he is not Michael Jordan, and it is time we stop pretending otherwise. For years now, we've been force-fed the narrative that LeBron's accolades stack up to MJ's, that somehow playing longer and scoring more over time means more than delivering greatness every single night when it mattered most. But what Stephen A. just did is rip that illusion apart piece by piece, with 12 ruthless, undeniable truths. If you're still clinging to the idea that LeBron James has reached the throne, you're about to get a brutal awakening. This is not just a script. This is a war declaration against the false equivalence between greatness and volume. Michael Jordan never needed a Game 7. He never asked for excuses. He never let the crown slip, even once. So, if you believe in real greatness, in legacy built through fear, respect, and domination, hit that like button, subscribe to NBA Showdown, and get ready, because we are about to break down every single truth that proves why LeBron can never be on Jordan's level. Stephen A. Smith begins his teardown of the LeBron GOAT mythology by acknowledging the obvious. LeBron James is a 4-time champion. He's a 4-time league MVP. That's no small feat. But instead of using that as a platform to elevate LeBron into GOAT territory, Stephen A. frames it as the ceiling of his greatness, not the pinnacle of all time. Because when you compare those numbers to Michael Jordan's, the difference is not in how many titles or MVPs were earned, but how they were earned. Jordan didn't need 21 years in the league to stack his accolades. He got 6 championships in just over a decade. He dominated every finals he appeared in. He never lost, never needed to run to another super team, never deferred. And he did all of this in an era where defenders were allowed to be physical, brutal even. This wasn't some curated league tailored to highlight stars. This was the gauntlet, and Jordan ruled it. LeBron's longevity is impressive, but longevity is not legacy. The game changes, rules evolve, but greatness must transcend eras, not just survive through them. When Stephen A. brings up LeBron's accolades, it's not to say LeBron is weak. It's to remind us that greatness by accumulation is not the same as greatness by domination. Jordan didn't hang around to pad stats. He walked away on top twice, and when he came back at 40, he still dropped 40. He was wired differently. The game wasn't about numbers to him. It was about soul, and soul is something that can't be measured in box scores. So yes, LeBron is a 4-time MVP, but Jordan, he is the definition of MVP.
I mean, this dude is a guy that is a 4-time champion, a 4-time league MVP.
Stephen A. hits the heart of the debate with this one. He reveals the emotional backlash he received simply for ranking LeBron James number 2 on his all-time list. Think about that. Number 2 in the entire history of basketball, and that wasn't enough. That was viewed as disrespect. LeBron's fans didn't cheer at the acknowledgement. They raged, because in their minds, being second to Michael Jordan is somehow an insult rather than the ultimate compliment. That's where this debate has gone off the rails. When did being number 2 to the most iconic athlete of all time become slander? Stephen A. calls it for what it is: delusion. There is a hunger in today's culture to crown LeBron the GOAT simply because he's still playing, still putting up numbers, still breaking milestones. But there's a difference between relevance and supremacy. Michael Jordan was the standard. He wasn't in the conversation. He was the conversation, and anyone who stepped on the court knew it. The fear Jordan commanded was different. It wasn't just because of his skills. It was because of the inevitability. You could drop 40 on him and still lose because he would drop 45 and make it look effortless. He wasn't chasing anything. He wasn't campaigning for titles. He just took them. So when Stephen A. says it's an insult to rank LeBron second, he's not criticizing LeBron. He's exposing the culture of overhype. He's drawing a line in the sand. Because if being second to Jordan is considered offensive, then the world has truly forgotten what real greatness looks like. Jordan didn't beg for validation. He took your soul and left no doubt. That's the bar. And that's the reason LeBron can never be on Jordan's level.
It's so insulting. I mean, LeBron could hardly look at me, and Rich Paul and Maverick and everybody losing their damn mind. Got him number 2 all time in the history of basketball, and that's an insult.
This is where Stephen A. Smith delivers the knockout. When he points out that Michael Jordan never even needed a Game 7 in the finals, the air gets sucked out of the room. That is not just a stat. That is an indictment, because it tells you one thing: Jordan didn't let the moment decide the game. He was the moment. When the stakes were highest, Jordan never let it go down to the wire. He closed every single time. No Game 7s, no question marks, no hesitation. That is the ultimate definition of clutch. That is what separates the truly great from the eternally iconic. LeBron, by contrast, has lived in the Game 7 realm. He's had to scratch and claw to reach glory. Sometimes he won, sometimes he didn't. But the very fact that we associate him with comebacks and nail-biters means he was never in complete control. Jordan was never about coming back. He was about burying you before you had the chance to fight back. That's the essence of fear-based greatness. He made sure you never even had a shot. You weren't just playing Michael Jordan. You were playing the myth, the moment, and the momentum, and no one survived. So when Stephen A. says Jordan never let it get to Game 7, he's saying Jordan did what champions dream of. He made winning inevitable. And that is something LeBron James, for all his talent, for all his stats, has never been able to do consistently. Jordan ended series. LeBron extends them. That's the difference. That's the gap. And that's why LeBron James can never be on the level of Michael Jordan.
Appearances, Tim Lakeland, correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan never even allowed a series to get to a Game 7. He never allowed it to get that close. When you talk about the greatness of LeBron James, there have been times where we've debated.
When Stephen A. Smith said that if you talked junk to Michael Jordan, he wanted you, it was not just a statement. It was a thunderous reminder of what made MJ so terrifying. This is what separates the apex predator from the rest of the jungle. Michael Jordan was not ducking smoke. He hunted it. He lived for it. He needed it. The second you opened your mouth, the second you dared to disrespect his name, you signed your own sentence, because Jordan was not going to ignore you. He was going to destroy you. This mindset is the essence of why Michael Jordan is the standard. In an age where players hug each other after losses and switch jerseys with smiles, Jordan embodied a competitive rage that has not been replicated. You did not challenge him without consequences. Trash talk was not entertainment for him. It was personal. If you ran your mouth, you gave him a reason to go for your throat, and he never missed. Jordan turned petty slights into historical performances. He took personal offense to the smallest comments, the quietest whispers, and then dropped 50 on your head like it was routine. LeBron James, on the other hand, has never operated with that same killer instinct. Yes, he is clutch in moments. Yes, he has had his share of dominant games. But the fury, the obsession, the dark intensity that Jordan wielded like a weapon, that has never been a part of LeBron's DNA. LeBron often looks like a man trying to control a situation. Jordan looked like a man trying to end it. He was not managing outcomes. He was dictating them. Stephen A. is drawing that line in bold ink. When someone disrespected Jordan, the response was nuclear. Not later, not next season, right then. Michael Jordan wanted the pressure. He wanted the fight. He wanted to embarrass you, and he did it every single time. That is not just greatness. That is greatness with a vengeance. That is why LeBron cannot be on Jordan's level. Because while LeBron responds to criticism with statements in press conferences, Jordan responded with 40-point nights and silent assassinations on the hardwood. One was emotional, the other was surgical. So the next time someone says LeBron is the GOAT, remember this: Michael Jordan didn't need your respect. He took it. If you disrespected him, he made you pay. That is not just greatness. That is legacy carved in blood and sweat. And that legacy belongs to Jordan alone.
That Michael Jordan. Don't come to me about GOAT James and giving me some youngster as great as Giannis is, young whippersnapper, wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac, living in Greece.
Stephen A. Smith did not sugarcoat it when he said Jordan came into the league with an assassin's mindset. He is not exaggerating. He is not hyping up nostalgia. He is telling the raw truth that too many people today have forgotten. Michael Jordan was not groomed into greatness. He arrived ready to kill. This man stepped into the NBA as a 21-year-old rookie and immediately began dismantling grown men like he had been doing it for decades. His mindset was forged in fire. He wanted to be the best, and he was willing to cut through anyone to get there. Jordan didn't wait to develop into a star. He wasn't someone who needed a couple of seasons to get his legs under him. No, he exploded right out of the gate. From day one, he took control of games, commanded double teams, and shattered egos. And the thing that made him different was not just the talent, it was the intent. His game had one goal: domination. He did not want to beat you by a point. He wanted to humiliate you. He wanted your coach to bench you out of mercy. He wanted your fans to stop cheering. LeBron James is undeniably talented, but his early years in the league were not the same. He was a prodigy, yes, a phenomenon, yes, but he grew into his game over time. He developed leadership, clutch performance, and physical dominance gradually. Jordan didn't evolve into a killer. He started as one. That difference matters, because when we talk about the GOAT, we are talking about the totality of greatness, and Jordan's path was relentless from the first whistle. There was no pause. There was no ramp up. There was just blood in the water and Jordan going in for the kill. Stephen A. brings this up to shatter the illusion that Jordan and LeBron started at the same level of intensity. They didn't. One man entered the league as a soldier. The other came in as a general with a battle plan already drawn in blood. Jordan's eyes told the story before the ball ever tipped. He was not here to make friends. He was not here to build a brand. He was here to dominate the sport, and he did. So while LeBron's path is commendable, it cannot be compared to the mindset Jordan brought from day one. Jordan's entire career was built on that assassin's edge. It was what defined him, and that is why the bar is set where it is. Michael Jordan did not wait to be great. He showed up already legendary. That mindset can't be taught, it can't be copied, and it damn sure can't can't be imitated. It is the reason why LeBron James, no matter how long he plays, can never stand beside the man who came into the league like a bullet out of a gun.
Well, is KD on that level? You know, Kobe back in the day, was he on that level? God rest his soul. Others as well. But when Michael Jordan was playing, you know this, was it not Michael Jordan and everybody else? Did everybody not know it was Michael Jordan and everybody else? There's not a difference between respect and reverence.
Stephen A. Smith exposed one of the biggest truths that nobody in the media wants to talk about. LeBron James never had a real nemesis. Not like Jordan, not even close. His so-called rivals, Roy Hibbert, Paul George, a rotating cast of B-list challengers who never reached the elite threshold required to test a real king. That is not greatness forged through rivalry. That is greatness in a vacuum. And Stephen A. calls it exactly what it is, a byproduct of a softer era. Michael Jordan's legacy was defined by enemies. The bad boy Pistons, the Knicks, Reggie Miller. The entire Eastern Conference was a war zone. These were not soft, finesse-driven squads. These were brutal, body-checking, emotionally charged killers who played to break you mentally and physically. Jordan did not just face them, he beat them down again and again. His greatness was sharpened by resistance. He did not walk through the league. He marched through it like a general conquering hostile lands. LeBron's era, much different. The league got softer, rules changed, hand-checking disappeared, physicality became a foul, and in that vacuum, LeBron thrived. Yes, he is an all-time great talent, but the lack of a consistent, true rival means he never had to slay a dragon the way Jordan did. And even when worthy adversaries appeared, the Spurs, the Warriors, LeBron's record was mixed. He won some, but he lost plenty. He never had that consistent nemesis that he dominated the way Jordan did his. Stephen A.'s words are a slap in the face to the myth that LeBron's era was somehow tougher. It was not. It was cleaner, safer, and more brand-friendly. The league protected its stars. Jordan's league tried to break its stars, yet he rose above it all. And that is why Jordan's throne is untouched, because you cannot talk about GOATs without talking about who they had to kill to earn the crown. Jordan's road was littered with legends he buried. LeBron's road? A smoother highway paved by changing rules and softened competition. So let us be real. You cannot be the greatest if you never face the greatest fire. LeBron had competition, but Jordan had war, and that is why Jordan sits at the top, untouched, unshaken, and unchallenged. The game may have evolved, but greatness rooted in battle will always outshine greatness built in comfort.
Not a 6-time champion, a 4-time champion. You talk about teams that LeBron is going against, and KD with Steph and Clay. Jordan never went with against anybody like that.
When Stephen A. Smith dropped the line that LeBron was trying to be everybody's friend, he wasn't just offering a casual opinion. He was dismantling the myth that LeBron possessed the same win-at-all-costs DNA that fueled Michael Jordan. And this distinction is everything, because greatness isn't just about stats. It's about mentality. It's about sacrifice. It's about choosing glory over popularity. Michael Jordan made that choice. LeBron James, as Stephen A. points out, did not. Michael Jordan was not in the NBA to make friends. He was there to ruin careers. He didn't care if you liked him. He didn't care if you respected him. He cared about one thing: domination. Jordan knew that to be the greatest, you had to walk alone. You had to burn bridges, alienate teammates if necessary, and crush opponents without remorse. He understood that real greatness required isolation. You didn't build friendships. You built legacies. And legacies are not built by handshakes and hugs. They're built by leaving no doubt. LeBron, on the other hand, came into the league with a mindset that was more political than predatory. He wanted to be respected by everyone. He wanted to be admired, loved, accepted. He switched teams to align with friends. He celebrated other players publicly. He took to social media to uplift peers and even opponents. And while that's admirable from a human perspective, from a competitive standpoint, it is fatal, because once you start caring about what your opponents think, you've already surrendered a piece of your edge. Stephen A. wasn't mocking LeBron. He was exposing the truth. That this need to be liked softened LeBron's approach. It diluted his killer instinct. You can't try to bury someone and get brunch with them the next day. Jordan understood that. He weaponized his rivals. He made it personal every single night. His teammates feared him. His enemies hated him. But everyone respected him because he didn't care about being liked. He only cared about winning. LeBron's need to be a people pleaser is why his name never sends chills the way Jordan's does. No one ever looked at LeBron and thought, this man is going to rip my heart out and laugh about it. With Jordan, that fear was real. And fear is what separates the GOAT from the great. Jordan wasn't just better. He was feared. And LeBron never achieved that. So while LeBron's resume is long and his accolades are many, the aura is not the same. Jordan's name carried weight in every arena. His presence changed everything. And that energy didn't come from being friendly. It came from being ruthless. That is the line Stephen A. drew. That is the edge LeBron never had. And that is why Jordan's crown is still shining, untouched by the king who wanted to be everyone's friend.
That Michael Jordan. Don't come to me about GOAT James and giving me some youngster as great as Giannis is, young whippersnapper, wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac, living in Greece.
Stephen A. Smith doesn't hold back when he says Jordan wasn't trying to be your friend. He was trying to take your heart. That statement is so powerful because it cuts through every modern narrative that's been built around today's NBA. This isn't about advanced analytics. This isn't about highlight reels. This is about mentality. Jordan's greatness was psychological warfare. He didn't just want to beat you. He wanted to demoralize you, destroy your will, and make sure you never step to him again. Michael Jordan approached every opponent like a predator. He didn't see a basketball game. He saw prey. He saw weakness. He saw insecurity, and he attacked it. He used every inch of the floor like a battlefield. He never smiled during games unless it was at your defeat. And the reason why his legacy is immortal is because he carved it out of other people's pain. When he dropped 63 on the Celtics in the playoffs, he wasn't looking for validation. He was making a statement that he was coming, that no one was safe, that this league belonged to him now. LeBron James has never played the game that way. Yes, he's had iconic moments. Yes, he's had amazing comebacks, but he has always carried himself like a global ambassador first, a competitor second. He is the brand. He is the philanthropist. He is the peacemaker. And while those are noble qualities, they dilute the edge that separates greatness from immortality. Jordan didn't want your praise. He wanted your soul. He wanted you broken before the buzzer, and he took it night after night. Stephen A. isn't praising cruelty for cruelty's sake. He's highlighting the difference between competing and conquering. LeBron competes. Jordan conquered. When players lost to Jordan, they didn't just lose a game. They lost sleep. They lost confidence. They lost years of opportunity because he made sure they didn't get a ring. That is why Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, all legends, never got theirs. Jordan took it from them. LeBron never denied anyone their rings the way Jordan did. In fact, he's lost more than he's won in the finals. He's made room for others to eat. Jordan left no food on the table. If you were hungry, you starved. That's why his legacy is beyond numbers. It's spiritual. He became a symbol of fear, and fear lasts longer than fame. Jordan didn't just play basketball. He waged war. And that is why, no matter how many points LeBron scores, how many seasons he plays, or how many tweets he sends, he can never wear the crown. Because the crown belongs to the man who didn't want your approval. He wanted your heart, and he took it.
I'm talking about a 10-time scoring champion, 9-time All-NBA defensive team player, a 5-time NBA Finals MVP. I'm sorry, playing 82 games a year, 80 to 82 games a year.
Stephen A. Smith hit a nerve when he said LeBron's resume is elite, but the eye test belongs to Michael Jordan. That distinction is everything, because the resume is built on numbers. It's built on longevity. It's built on a carefully curated narrative. But the eye test, the raw truth of what you see when you watch greatness in action, that belongs to Jordan. And there's not a single soul who watched both and still dares to deny that. LeBron's resume is filled with accolades, multiple MVPs, championships, all-time leading scorer. It's impressive, but you cannot measure greatness with a calculator. You measure it with your gut. You measure it with what your eyes scream at you when someone steps on the court. And every time Michael Jordan stepped onto the hardwood, your eyes knew you were watching something supernatural, something from another dimension. You weren't just witnessing excellence. You were witnessing perfection in motion. The way Jordan glided through defenders, the way he hung in the air a second longer than physics should allow, the way he moved with purpose, grace, and murder in his heart, that was the eye test. He didn't just play basketball. He elevated it into an art form. He had poise, polish, and pressure-cooked determination every second of every game. And you could see it. You could feel it. He didn't just dominate. He looked like domination personified. LeBron, for all his greatness, doesn't pass that eye test in the same way. He is powerful. He is efficient. But his game has never inspired the same awe. You don't sit back and say, that's the most beautiful basketball I've ever seen. You say, that's smart, that's strong, that's effective. But greatness is not a checklist. It's a feeling. And the feeling that Jordan gave you is one LeBron never has and never will. Stephen A. isn't dismissing LeBron's accomplishments. He's putting them in their proper context, because when history is written, the numbers will fade. What won't fade is the memory of watching Jordan hit that turnaround jumper with the shot clock winding down, the image of him soaring through the air in the finals, the look in his eyes before he ended another team's season. That is the eye test. That is what burns itself into your soul. And that is why, no matter how impressive LeBron's resume gets, he will always fall short, because numbers are just ink on paper. But greatness, real greatness, is what your eyes never forget. And what the world saw in Michael Jordan is something it has never seen again.
Talking to me about how LeBron James is better than a dude that was balling before he was born.
When Stephen A. Smith said Michael Jordan did it in a more pressurized era, he didn't mean Jordan had it slightly harder. He meant Jordan operated in a furnace and still emerged a flawless diamond. The 80s and 90s NBA were not kind. They were brutal. The physicality was overwhelming. The media was relentless. The competition was stacked. There was no load management. There were no friendly podcasts with your rivals. You had to survive. You had to dominate. And Jordan didn't just survive, he ascended. Every night Jordan played, he went to war. The bad boy Pistons didn't try to outscore it. They tried to break him. The Knicks weren't trying to contest his shot. They were trying to bleed him. The Eastern Conference was a gauntlet. There were no easy outs. And when Jordan got past that chaos, he still had to face the likes of Magic Johnson, Clyde Drexler, Charles Barkley, Gary Payton, and John Stockton. These weren't cupcakes. These were killers. Yet Jordan never blinked. He thrived in the storm. He didn't just win, he suffocated hope. He silenced arenas. Now compare that to LeBron's era, a softer league. Rule changes that benefit offensive players, teams that tank for draft picks, superstars teaming up and bouncing from city to city. The pressure today is mostly off the court, social media noise, contract negotiations, PR narratives, but between the lines, it's tamer, cleaner, safer. And even in this diluted environment, LeBron has faltered. He's lost to the Mavericks in 2011. He's been swept in the finals. He's needed super teams to survive. Jordan never needed that. He looked pressure in the eye and smiled. Stephen A. didn't bring up pressure to insult LeBron. He brought it up to remind us why Jordan's legacy is untouchable. Because greatness under comfort is one thing, greatness under duress is another. And Jordan stood tall when giants tried to knock him down every single night. His dominance was earned in an unforgiving era, and that's why he sits on a throne no one else can even approach. Not LeBron, not anyone.
He's the reason you knew about basketball in Greece, for crying out loud. It's because of Michael Jordan. You didn't bring that up while you were in Greece.
Stephen A. Smith's declaration that Jordan made sure you never got to Game 7 is more than a statistic. It's a legacy-defining truth. It speaks to Jordan's mindset, his fury, his refusal to let greatness hang in the balance. When the playoffs arrived, Jordan didn't wait for fate. He took it. He didn't gamble on Game 7 heroics. He slammed the door in Game 6 every single time. That's not coincidence. That's dominance. Let's unpack this. In all 6 of his NBA finals, Jordan never played a Game 7. He didn't need to. When others hesitated, he struck. When others hoped, he finished. That killer instinct is what separates legends from deities. LeBron, by contrast, has lived in the land of Game 7s. He's won some. He's lost others. But the mere fact that he let it get to that point is what undermines his claim to the throne. Jordan didn't leave the outcome to chance. He destroyed you when he had you on the ropes. He didn't need another 48 minutes to seal his greatness. He ended it when it mattered. This isn't just about clutch shooting. It's about certainty. Jordan's finals were statements, sweeping statements. He was the definitive exclamation point on every series. There was no what if, no hanging chads, no debate. When Jordan left the court, the series was over. LeBron, for all his greatness, has never had that level of closure. He's gone to 7 games against weaker teams. He's needed Ray Allen to bail him out. He's let destiny dangle. Stephen A. was right to highlight this stat because it's not just a detail, it's a mindset. Jordan didn't play with his food. He devoured it. He didn't just want to beat you. He wanted to crush your spirit so you never came back. And once again, that's the ultimate separation between him and LeBron. The killer versus the competitor. The closer versus the survivor. When people say 6 rings in 6 tries, it's not just a brag. It's the symbol of perfection. No Game 7s, no drama. Just cold-blooded execution. That's what Michael Jordan was. A basketball executioner. And no matter how long LeBron plays, no matter how many stats he breaks, he will never erase that fundamental truth. Jordan didn't need a Game 7. He was game over.
I'm simply saying his youth. You didn't know about basketball. You wouldn't know about basketball if it wasn't for Michael Jordan. What the hell are you talking about? So let's see. You can talk all that junk all you want to, but there's levels to this.
Stephen A. Smith might have delivered the knockout punch of the entire debate when he reminded the world that Jordan never left a finals without the trophy. That's the ultimate mic drop. 6 trips, 6 rings, 6 finals MVPs. No blemishes, no excuses, no teammates blamed, no injuries cited, just relentless, unbroken supremacy. Jordan didn't hope for greatness. He completed it every time. LeBron has been to 10 finals, and that's a feat in itself. But the result? 4 wins, 6 losses. That's the story. That's the legacy. More trips, fewer rings, more drama, fewer closures. Jordan wasn't just undefeated in the finals. He was untouchable. Every time he got there, he delivered. That is the gold standard. That is the bar. And LeBron, for all his achievements, has fallen short. The finals are the stage where immortality is earned, and Jordan treated it like a final exam, acing it every time. There were no learning moments. No, the team wasn't ready. He showed up and he conquered. Whether it was Magic and the Lakers, Clyde and the Blazers, Barkley and the Suns, or Stockton and Malone, Jordan stared down Hall of Famers and made them footnotes. He wasn't just playing for a ring. He was cementing his legend again and again. LeBron's story is different. It's the story of ups and downs, of being swept, of choking in 2011, of super teams rising and falling, of legacies being debated instead of accepted. Jordan doesn't live in the land of maybe. He lives in the land of definitely. Stephen A. is simply pointing out what we all see. When Jordan made it to the finals, the ending was never in doubt. When LeBron makes it there, it's a coin flip. And that's why the GOAT debate isn't really a debate at all. It's a marketing narrative, a numbers conversation. But when you strip all that away and look at the truth, the cold, hard truth, Jordan never left the finals without a trophy. LeBron can't say that, and he never will.
LeBron James is phenomenal as he is number 2 all time. Never, ever, MJ.
So here we are, 12 quotes, 12 brutal truths. Stephen A. Smith didn't come for debate. He came for closure. He came to remind everyone that Michael Jordan is the god of basketball, not the GOAT, the god, the one who never needed a Game 7, the one who never lost in the finals, the one who didn't want your friendship. He wanted your heart. LeBron James is great. He is legendary, but he is not and never will be Michael Jordan. His resume may grow, his stats may expand, but greatness is not defined by numbers. It is defined by dominance, by fear, by finality, and on every count, Jordan wins, unequivocally, undeniably. So the next time someone anyone dares to utter LeBron's name in the same sentence as Jordan, send them this video. Show them these quotes. Let Stephen A. Smith be the voice that ends the noise. Because at the end of the day, Michael Jordan didn't just play the game. He became the standard, the untouchable, the unreachable, the god of the game. Now hit that like button, subscribe for more bold breakdowns, and drop your GOAT take in the comments. But make it real, because around here, we don't play with legends, we crown them.